right. Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Elana with New Streaming Network, home of Going Solo, Going Bold, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio. Welcome to your Health Vibes with Elana. And I'm your host, Elana, with, hey, what do you know? Your Health Vibes with Elana. Today, my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And today, our topic is smashing limiting beliefs, the power of language with Coach Jen B. And today, I would like to introduce my amazing dot sister. So blessed to have you here, Coach Jen B. Woo!
Awesome.
Thank you for being here and thank you for showing up. I just want to say really, really fast, everybody, a little story because I love stories. I had a friend, not a friend request, but a suggestion for friends. Jen's picture popped up and I was like, who is this? I need to know her. And I did a little Facebook stalking. I did. And we were going to be going to Celebration, which is, well, I'll explain more later on that for our dot world. But I got to show up and then wanting to meet you in person was the most amazing thing to get that special hug and squeeze because it wasn't online. I got to really feel and honor you. So, world, please welcome Coach Jen B.
Thank you, Elana. Awesome. I love your energy and thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast. And today I'm super excited to talk about the, itty bitty shitty committee. Has anybody ever heard about that before? I'm sure you've experienced it. I think most of us have. But ultimately, my name is Coach Jen B. I am your empowerment coach. I help women and women entrepreneurs to break free and create their best life and business. I say the boys get to play, but in my co-ed speaking events, other than that, I lean into empowering women and really helping them to create whatever it is they want more of them in their life. So should I go a little bit into my past and
Yes.
kind of what brought me here today?
Yeah, I would love for you to go to back. I think you and I both are all about stories, really showing up and really telling so that people can relate. And what I love is you're real, you're raw, you're authentic, and you show up. And that's what the world needs. So
thank you.
Please.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about my background and then, yes, there's a story. I always tell stories. I love stories because, as you said, Elana, like it truly helps us to connect the nuggets. Mm-hmm. And as a coach, I'm all about the nuggets. But at the end of the day, it's the stories that truly unite us. And so a little bit about my background. Both of my parents are immigrants. They came from Cuba. Mm-hmm. My father, who I love dearly and I lost at the age of 18, he was a political prisoner in Cuba. So he was incarcerated for 12 years due to his opinions towards the revolution. And he did his time. Honestly, he was actually sentenced to be executed. So he got very lucky. But he and my mom came over in 1980. They settled in Miami. And then I was born shortly after that. So in my household, and as it is very common in Miami, Spanish is very prevalent. And my parents only ever spoke Spanish. So school for me for the first 3 years of my life was extremely difficult. Who am I? Where do I fit in? Who are my friends? Are people here to hurt me? All the things. And some of those things were honestly stories that were passed down from my parents. Because when they came to the US, everything was scary for them.
Right.
The language, the people, the jobs, making money, everything. And of course, as their only child, as their daughter, they wanted to keep me safe. Mm-hmm. And so, Jen, the world is unkind. Jen, the world is unsafe. Jen, you always got to make sure you got your back. And that's the stories that were instilled in here.
Right.
So by the age of 8, I had an amazing mentor and teacher who showed up for me. And I finally cracked the code on this English thing. Thank the heavens.
Ding.
Yes. I was like, all right, now I get it. And the school setting completely changed for me, which was great.
Yeah.
In middle school is all the things. Like middle school, don't even get me started.
Right.
Like, does anybody love middle school?
if someone paid me to go back to middle school, I would not. That's a hard no.
I'm not sure anybody's ever said like middle school were the best years of my life and I can't wait to go back. Like if that is you, can you please reach out to us? Because I want some hope. Hope that middle school is going to be okay. My oldest son right now is in middle school. He's in 6th grade. So I just want some hope. But I ought to say that I ended up in some honors classes, which was epic. Yeah. And one of the honors classes that I ended up in was English. And this teacher had this way of teaching us English and literature and new vocabulary, and every one of us would take turns reading out loud. Well, here's the deal, y'all. I didn't learn how to read English through phonics or any kind of deciphering method. It was simply, for me, was you see a word, you say a word. And as we know in Spanish, that's how you work. What you see is what you say. English, not so much. So when it was my turn to read out loud, I was sure going to butcher something because with new vocab words, I hadn't seen these things before.
Right.
Well, when it was my turn, there was this boy who sat behind me in English class. His name was Daniel. And it was my turn to read. And he already knew me by then. He already knew what my buttons were and, you know, where I was going to excel and not. And he would just whisper behind my ear, like, you're not going to make it. Like, quit while you're ahead. Do you see where you come from? Like, look at your parents. Like, just stop. And I'd love to say that the teacher was hearing all of this, and I don't know if they were or not.
Right.
But here's what I'll tell you. By the time that Daniel showed up, and I was 13, and he was telling me these things in my ear, it wasn't the first time I had heard those things. By that point that Daniel showed up, I already believed all the things he was saying because I was already saying them towards myself.
Right.
And so that's what we call the itty bitty shitty committee. It's that voice that lives rent free in your mind. Probably is not paying you any money, hence rent free.
No money.
But it is costing you a ton of confidence, worthiness, financial impact, whatever it is that you want in your life. So, Elana, that is my story. The reason why I'm on a quest to turn my mess into my message as a coach is because I've realized that over time, none of us are alone.
No.
And through options for what you provide, it gives us the ability to show up, tell a story, and create unity and community when people are like, yeah, me too. Like, yeah, I also had a shitty middle school time. Yeah, I also know a boy named Daniel, except his name is Roger. You know, whatever the case may be. So, yes, thank you for creating this option for us.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story because now I feel like is what you said. So many people can relate. So many people like, I was there and can show up because exactly when you hear these beliefs and you hear this stuff going on in your head, exactly the itty shitty bitty committee is here we are, I'm here. And, you know, also taking that time, you don't want to give your energy, your time to that, you know, and with that, you know, when you're feeling like that and we're getting this negative self-talk, maybe you could tell some things. How can we rewrite that story?
Yeah.
How can we show up for ourselves so we're not constantly thinking of the Daniels or thinking of this? And when that itty bitty shitty comes in and pops in, how do we rewrite that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Here's the first place I'm going to ask you to start. And honestly, it's not sexy. I don't have the magic wand to all the things and boom, it's gone, right?
Right.
So first place to start with anything in our life, and it's so hard sometimes, grace and patience. So understanding that these stories that we tell ourselves, they're not from a place of fault. They're not from a place of, I'm the only one going through this. Literally, we have about 60,000 thoughts or more a day as people.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you were to stop and make a choice every single time that a thought came into your brain with 60,000 thoughts a day, you literally would be doing nothing.
Right.
Right? Because you would be in decision fatigue and overload by the third minute that you've woken up.
Exactly. I hate decisions too sometimes. The too many choices and things. There's woo.
So what does our brain do? Well, our brain tries to protect us, and our brain's job is to keep us safe. Right. And so it puts a lot of those thoughts in the back. It's not that they're not happening. There's a record playing back there. It's just that to keep us safe, we put a lot of things on autopilot. And autopilot's like that thing that, have you ever gotten in your car and then you get home and you're like, how the heck did I get here? Did I run any red lights? Hopefully none of that happened, right? And so autopilot's that sense of like things just happen and you're not truly aware why they're going on.
Yeah.
So awareness is key. And so it's that moment of stopping when that thought comes into your head and saying, all right, where's this coming from? Okay. And then with some grace, challenging the thought. So I like the concept of these 3 questions that I bring up often whenever I work with my clients. Is it true? Is it real? Is it mine?
Ooh, can you say that one more time?
Is it true? Is it real? Is it mine? So it's taking that thought, right? I'm never going to make it. I'm incapable. Okay. And saying, is it true? And true from the sense of, as a third party observer, would somebody come into your life, look at the evidence and the facts and say, absolutely, you are never going to make it. Okay. So is it true? Is it factual? Number 2, is it your current reality? Is it real? Does that mean that right here, right now, in this present day, this thing is happening? Or is it a story from somewhere in the rearview mirror that you brought into today?
Ooh, okay? That's so very...
Is it real that I'm never going to make it? Okay. Number 3, is it mine? That means that you, on your own free will, with absolutely no influence from anybody, anywhere, came up with this belief all by yourself. And usually what we find is that through growing up, our parents, our stories, our society, whatever, we've inherited a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So when we look at this comment of, I'm never going to make it, is it true? Absolutely not true. Is it real? It's not my present day. Was I struggling and reading at that point? Absolutely. And is it mine? No. Okay, Daniel, and plenty of other stories before Daniel gave me this. So that those 3 questions, Elena, can completely change your ability to reflect and say, hold on, wait a minute. This story is not true, real, or mine. And again, if any of the answers are a no, even if there's 2 yeses, that story is not yours. And so we're going to call it a 5-pound weight you're carrying around on your back. And when you start carrying 10 and 20 and 30 of those, very quickly you become immobilized. So taking off one of those 5-pound weights, little by little, truly helps you to then show up as you, and truly helps you to step into your best life.
I really love that. And maybe we can also, I like the point, the last point of saying it's not, that doesn't define you. It's not, what it came up with the story and where that story came from. And so many times I think too, when we are raised, it's like, that's all our parents knew. That's all they knew. And having that compassion because you don't want to define that. What are some ways when you keep, having that negative talk, or how do you smash that or get that out of your head, or any ways to show that that doesn't define you, because you say, this is how I was raised, or this is, this is what it is. How do you help someone to get out of their head that having that extra compassion, but also know that that's not who you are? Yeah,
absolutely. First off, I'd like to say that I think most of us, if not all of us, the majority of us, 99.9%, I'm going to call, wake up every day with the intention to do good and to help people and to live our best life. But sometimes things get wonky. And so in no place were my parents ever trying to instill fear in me from a place of, I want to break you down and I want to shut you out. Right. They were trying to do it from a place of, hey, these are some things to know, and I just want you to make some good decisions about them. One of the things for my mom is she was always afraid of any kind of financial bill. We didn't have a lot growing up. And one of the things that she saw as preventable was me getting hurt, whether sick or actually physically hurt, by going to try something new. And something that most kids do, like learn how to ride a bike. Yeah. I didn't have that option. So it's not that my mom didn't want me to learn how to ride a bike. Right. She just was afraid of that financial bill that might come through in case I were to break an arm or twist an ankle or whatever the case may be. So understanding that there's compassion, or to show up with compassion for others. There's a good book I recommend called The Gap and the Gain.
Ooh.
And what the concept is essentially is that so often in life, we're trying to think about the gain. Like, what more can I have? How much more money can I make? How more of this?
Mm-hmm.
And what we sometimes forget to do is to realize how far we've already come.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My parents, they grew up in a situation where some of the privileges I had as a kid, for them, were not things they had. And so understanding that my parents were already doing so much better than how they were raised,
Right.
and giving compassion for that is key. Now, great, I can give him compassion. Great, I still got to show up for me.
Yes.
And one of the things that I am very passionate about, and I think we've kind of determined this by now, is that the language we use towards ourselves.
Yes. I would love to talk more about that. Yeah. Of the language and how you show up and how you talk to yourself, how that presents to your everyday life.
Okay. So really simple rule of thumb. If you would never say it to a best friend out loud, don't ever say it to yourself.
So true. It's so true.
So if you'd be like, yo, you look terrible today in what you're wearing, go back and go in the closet and go figure something out. I mean, we would never tell your best friend that. Yo, like, no, don't go apply for that job because who do you think you are? I mean, come on, stick where you are. We would never tell her things. Or somebody would truly, right? We're probably going to be their biggest cheerleader. Go get it. You got this. You know, you look amazing. Look at you rocking it today.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So wake up with that energy that you're your own best friend, because you are the only person in your entire life that will spend 100% of your time with you.
Ooh.
Nobody else will spend 100% of your time with you other than you.
So true. And when people are feeling like this and they are down, or, you know, they start to get that talk, and just, do you think they need to like feel their emotions, go with it? You know, I know we talk to ourselves, but pulling yourself out of the bed and not talking to, you know, yourself the way you would, I would never tell my best friend or little Elena. I would never tell my little, you know, these things. And when we get that and we get clouded, what are some, is there any exercise or any other, like, would you call a friend? Would you, I mean, I know we have to rely on ourselves, but what are some things that people can reach out for?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, compassion and no judgment is super critical. Ultimately, you know, what I believe in is we forget to play often in our life.
Mm-hmm.
We forget because play is for kids, right?
Yeah.
As adults, we don't deserve to have any fun or any of those things. Okay. So in these moments, I always say, write a positive affirmation and keep it by your mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do something that brings you joy, even if it might be for like 5 minutes. We have an amazing ability as humans to change our state, which means to change our feelings.
Yeah.
Now, here's something I don't believe in. Many of us do this thing called numbing. Okay, think about our society. Drugs, alcohol, social media, toxic relationships, whatever it is, food.
Yeah.
And we go to this place of, I'm not going to feel those things because those things are just icky to feel. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to stuff it. I'm going to numb it. And the more we stuff it and numb, it's not that it goes away.
Right.
It just comes back in a different way, in a different fashion. And so the goal is to work through these things, to feel these things. And y'all, you are worthy of feeling. And if we were not worthy of feeling, we wouldn't be humans. We would be robots. We're not robots.
No,
okay?
We don't want to be that.
And these little moments, when you're good with you, write down 5 or 10 things that bring you joy. And when those shitty moments happen, when life gets lifey, go ahead and go look at your list. But keep it somewhere obvious. Because when life gets lifey, you're not like looking through your sock drawer and trying to figure out this thing on you're so frustrated. You're like, yeah. So go put it on your wall. Yeah. Put it on your mirror. Go put it on the dashboard of your car. It might be simple. It might be breathing. It might be a meditation. It might be your power song, and jump into that.
Ooh, right? So I love music and songs. I think for me, that really gets me, you know, I wake up in the morning, put on something good, run around the house, you know, and having that positive energy vibe.
Right. Is it brewing a cup of coffee and sitting outside and listening to nothing but peace? Yes. Right. When your kids are at school, or, you know, when you have some time for yourself or whatever the case may be. But again, I think these things, I'm not a coach who would ever shit on someone because my life, your life is not my life. I have not lived your experiences. And so go make your 5 or 10 list thing that is you, uniquely you, and makes you happy and brings you joy.
I love that you say that because, as I said, I love how you show up. You are such an inspiration. You make me want to be a better woman. And when you say you will follow through, you do. You're not the talk. You talk the talk, you walk the walk, you show up, and you allow the individual to be us. And that's what I love. You're not transforming someone to be you. You're transforming someone to show up for themselves and bringing that up. So breaking free from those limited beliefs and showing up that way. Are you doing any programs? Or are there any things that people can see this amazing thing and like show up and be a part of you? Because I think the world needs more Gen Bs out there to really shine that. So how can we work with you? What do you do?
I think it's a complete disservice to show up with all the rah-rah and give you some tools and not tell you what's behind the scenes, right? Like ultimately, I know and we know that as people, there's 3 things that truly, Mariah, all right. Hello, Coach Gen B. How can you forgive yourself for not believing on yourself for so long?
Ooh,
that is a great question, Mariah. Thank you for chiming in here and bringing that up.
Mariah, thank you.
So that's, I would say that forgiveness is a place that is really deep and it is very, very personal. So with that, what I would recommend is I would go back and I would spend some time with what is the thing that is bugging you? What is the thing that you're having a hard time around? And I'm a big fan of writing letters to yourself.
Ooh.
Sometimes letters to yourself are, you want to keep them in your sock drawer. Sometimes letters to yourself are a place of writing it down, and I'm not responsible for any arson, but go burning it up. Go putting it in a shredder.
I agree.
And so a template that I love to use when it comes to forgiveness is, Dear Jen, I forgive myself for X, Y, and Z, for not showing up for me, for talking down on myself, maybe for something else that's happened to somebody else.
Right.
And it's understanding and writing in this letter if that is something that is aligned to you. At that time, I didn't know. At that time, I was trying to do the best that I could. But knowing what I know today, my commitment is to show up in this way now going forward for myself. Maybe if it's something you did for someone, for them. But here's what I'll tell you about forgiveness. It's one of my favorite F words. I have a lot of F words that I love.
You do. I just want to say that.
Forgiveness is one of my favorite ones because we often so hold this grudge, so resentment, guilt. You're within us deep.
Yeah.
And it's like, we want us to teach us something, like if I carry this, I can punish myself.
Oh, yeah.
At what point are you done punishing yourself?
Right.
Are you saying enough is enough? And I'm here to tell you that today your enough is enough. You don't need to punish yourself any longer. You get to be. And part of me is that I'm aware of what happened. I'm aware how I treated myself. And now I'm here to bless and release it and understand that on the other side of this, I have a choice I can make. So, Mariah, I hope that gives you some inspiration regarding the question that you asked. And I appreciate you bringing that up today because, yes, forgiveness can be hard. And yes, it does take time.
It really does. And I'm going to just throw in a little plug because I love this shirt. And after all saying that, everybody, you are worthy. You are. And then I don't know if they can see the back of it.
I will read it. Okay. It says, to the person behind me, you are enough. You are seen. You are loved. Grow a Gen B. And that's who I am. Grow, just to give y'all a little bit of perspective, stands for get ready to own your worth. All right. Joe says something. Yeah. I live by every day is one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Yes. Nothing for positivity in my life now and totally changed me. I heard a stat on the radio the other day, not saying that everything you hear you should believe, but it said that most people make their decision regarding whether it's going to be a positive or not so good of a day by 8:36 in the morning.
What?
Yeah. That is
Wow.
like literally just maybe for us, like who are early birds, a couple hours after we wake up, but most of us make the choice pretty darn quick. So thank you, Mariah. Wow, speechless. Thank you so much, Coach. We'll do that. And so just like we have the option of making a day not so good,
yeah,
we have the option of making a day so good. And here's the other thing I'm going to tell you, peeps. Okay. Again, not a coach here to shit on you. You can make a different choice at any point. It doesn't have to be a Monday. It doesn't have to be the 1st of January. It doesn't have to be the 1st of the month. Go make a different choice today regarding how you want to treat yourself. I think we're going into my programs, but so much excitement's going on here that I've got derailed. We're going
to talk about it in 1 second, but I love that you say it. And, you know, my parents always say, you have a choice. You have a choice how you want to show up. You have a choice how you want to be. And I love that you say, it doesn't have to be a choice on Monday at this time. Exactly. You have a choice whenever you want to show up to make that choice. So with that, breaking free from all that, those limiting beliefs and things, what do you have going on, Jen? How can we work with you? What is going on in your world?
I always got something going on, Elena. You know that.
You do.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
So I love workshopping. I love providing experiences for women where literally we can be together and in community. And most of my workshop experiences are free and virtual. Mm-hmm. Anybody, anywhere, in any place of the world can join me. Where you can always. What was that?
I said they're amazing.
Thank you. Easiest place to find more of me and to follow me is going to be on Facebook. I love Facebook. I love sharing. And the reason I do is because it's created a community for me. As an only child who felt like a lack of belonging for a very long time, I finally feel like I can be myself, 100% me. And I use the social media platform to be able to do that. So my name on Facebook is Jen B, B-E-E, like the thing that buzzes. Mm-hmm. And you can also search for Coach Jen B, and I will come up. On there, you're going to see my workshops and things that I announce. And then, of course, my website is www.growwithjenb.com, just like that. Okay. And that's a work in progress right now. It's going to be revamped very soon. But yeah, feel free to follow me. So I deliver a couple different programs. I am here to serve the people. And so what that means, whenever somebody is like, Jen, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, let's go create that new thing. So you never know what I've got going on. But my programs are focused on women and women entrepreneurs. So I deliver a 5-month program that's all about internal worth, confidence. And one of the things I am super passionate about, I'm just going to share the word piss in it real quick.
Yes, I wanted you to do that.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I was just good. That was coming up next.
Some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I do not take credit for. Okay, to be completely transparent, I am in a badass community of a lot of amazing women who have a lot of empowerment. Mm-hmm. And so these words that I use sometimes come from them. Like I didn't come up with itty bitty shitty committee. Okay, I also didn't come up with this word piss in it. Okay, it's PISSONATE. It is the intersection, y'all, of passionate and pissed off. So it's when you're so pissed off about something that you're like, that's going to be my new thing. That's going to be the thing I talk about. One of the things I'm very passionate about is women making more money. Mm-hmm. I spent 14 years as a human resources manager / director. I have seen women leave a ton of money on the table just because they don't feel worthy of it. On the other side, as women entrepreneurs, I also know that we leave a ton of money on the table because we're the helpers and we want to do the thing. And, you know, we discount our services and we don't show up in our value, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So my growth journey, my goal is to uplift women through their confidence, their worth, and also their finances. Okay. And then on the business coaching side, I also help people to craft and draft their business and then scale their business results so that we can create more impact in the world. So to be very clear on that end, I only work with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, not women who are just here to make a ton of money, because money's amazing, but money's just the thing. The impact is the ripple effect that we create in our communities and in our lives and with our people. So Elena, that is how you can play with Coach Jen B. That is how you can be inspired day in and day out. I'm 5 feet tall, y'all. My mother-in-law calls me Pocket Jen. So I have run with that too. And I say you can have a coach in your pocket, and that would be me.
It's so true. I want to take you in my pocket. When I saw you and I got to squeeze you, it was like the best. And that's how I felt. I just wanted to take you around, put you in my pocket, and just love on you for how you show up, what you do. So we're kind of closing out right now, but is there anything else that you would like to leave us with or share one last special message or anything else? I just, as the world, please reach out to Jen. It will be life-changing. And what would you like to leave us with?
Yeah, I'm going to leave you with this. And somebody shared this with me earlier today, so I'm going to butcher it. But here's the concept, okay? If you can't do it all, start somewhere.
Oof.
Okay? If you have a dishwasher full of dishes and that just feels really heavy today, go take one dish out. Okay? If today feels really hard and you put your pants on, get on a Zoom call. Okay? The whole point is we don't have to do it all, y'all. No. We can start with a 1%. And that's how we build our confidence. That is how we get in our reps and build our worth. 1% at a time. I'm also a big fan. If you haven't read it, maybe go find it. I have a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's all the concept of 1% compounds. And in the course of 365 days, a 1% shift is actually a 3,700% improvement. So how do you get better at anything? Start with the smallest, tiniest little thing and just get somewhere. So that's what I want to leave you with, Elana. Things don't have to be hard, y'all. Okay, no. You don't have to go be perfect, go all in. We know that often that is not sustainable or realistic, and you deserve better than that. So go do your thing, go do your 1%, and I hope you feel empowered today.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being present. I love you. I honor you, and just grateful. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I'm Elana with Your Health Vibes with Elana. You can join us bi-weekly, 9 a.m. Pacific time, also 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're raising your vibration, heart, body, mind, and soul. Everybody, thank you again. I love you. I honor you. I see you. And you are worthy.
All right, my friends. So much love. So much love.